This is the mandible of the cattle. So the mandible, as we know, it is the largest bone of the skull and it is a single bone. So this mandible, it is a single bone, although it is comprised of two halves. दो halves का बना होता है, is comprised of two halves. Just at the time of the birth, these two halves they get fused. ठीक है, दोनों halves जो होता है they get fused at the time of the birth, but the fusion that is incomplete. आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, this is called as mandibular symphysis. So the fusion is incomplete, and here you can see between the two there is a joint that is known as mandibular symphysis. There is another symphysis that is called as pelvic symphysis. So here this is known as mandibular symphysis. So it is generally considered as single bone, but it is comprised of two halves that at the time of the birth they get fused, but this fusion that is incomplete. In case of the cattle, dog, pig, while as it is complete in case of the horse. ठीक है. Now coming to the description, this mandible, it presents a body and the two rami are there. This is one ramus right and this is left. So there are two rami and there is a body. Now coming first to the body. The body, it presents three surfaces and three borders. This is known as lingual surface. This is the lingual surface. Here on this surface we have the labial surface, and towards this we have the symphysial surface. I will show you from this. So ये वाला जो हो गया, that is symphysial surface. This one, this surface that is known as, this is known as lingual surface. This lingual surface जो होता है, this is smooth and concave. तो here on the surface क्या होता है कि the tip of the tongue that rests here on this surface, that is the lingual surface here, and in the live animals it remains covered by the mucous membrane. ठीक है. So this is the lingual surface. This is smooth and concave. Opposite to this surface there is, this surface is known as, this is the labial surface. This is convex. This labial surface, it is related with the lower lip. ठीक है, lower lip के साथ होता है. And here the another surface, that is the symphysial surface. This symphysial surface, this is rough and irregular. This is rough and irregular. So there are three surfaces. This is the lingual surface, this is the labial surface, and this is the symphysial surface. And there are three borders. One here, that is known as alveolar border. There is a lateral border and symphysial border. This alveolar border, ये क्या करता है? Alveolar border, it separates two surfaces, that is the lingual surface and the labial surface. दो surface को separate करता है, कौन सा? That is called as alveolar border. Also it presents 8 alveoli for the lower incisors. So this half has 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 incisors. That means there are 4 alveoli on one half, and another has another 4 alveoli. I will show you from this. That is here. You can see that is here incisor that has been removed. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7 हो गए यहाँ पे, और यहाँ पे हो गए 8. So there are 8 incisors that are कहाँ पे? They are present on the alveolar border. ठीक है. So 3 surfaces and there are 3 borders in the body of the mandible. Now coming to the next part, that is the rami. So generally the rami, there are 2 in number. This is the right one and this is the left one. So though this is one ramus, this is the another ramus. So the जो rami होते हैं they are symmetrical. You can see they are symmetrical and they are flattened. ठीक है, they are flattened from the sides. Symmetrical होते हैं दोनों and they are flattened from the sides. So you can see this is the mandible of the young one and this is the mandible of an adult animal. ठीक है, don't get confused. ठीक है, so rami हो गया. This is the right ramus, this is the left ramus. They are symmetrical and they are flattened from the sides. And you can see between these two rami, what is there is a V-shaped space that is called as mandibular space. ठीक है, ये mandibular space होगी इसके बीच में and there is a prominent curve. ठीक है, prominent curve is there that forms the angle of the jaw. You can see this is the angle of the jaw. This one, angle of the jaw. Now each ramus क्या होता है, each ramus को अगर हम देखें, each ramus it has, there are two surfaces, two borders and there are two extremities. Now first coming to the surfaces, this one is the lateral surface. ठीक है, and opposite to the surface here, this is the medial surface. There are two surfaces. ठीक है, this is the lateral surface. जो lateral surface होता है उसमें क्या होता है, it is wide. Here you can see this, it is wide at the angle and towards the extremities you can see it becomes narrow. ठीक है, यहाँ से towards the extremities this lateral surface it gets narrow and at the angle it becomes wide. ठीक है, and here each ramus it has two parts. This is the horizontal part and this is the vertical part. The horizontal part it is located between the body and the angle of the jaw. This is the horizontal, and the part that is located above the angle of the jaw, this is called as the vertical part. ठीक है, so now each ramus it has two surfaces. That is the lateral surface. This lateral surface it is wide at the angle and towards the extremities ये क्या होता है, it is narrow. So on the horizontal part, ठीक है, close to its junction with the body, so this is the body and this is the horizontal part of the ramus. So there is a fossa. You can see there is a fossa that presents a foramen. ठीक है, एक यहाँ पे foramen होता है, that is known as mental foramen. That is the exit of the mandibular canal. ठीक है, this is the, इसको हम बोलते हैं mental foramen. मैं आपको यहाँ से दिखाता हूँ. Here you can see this is the, can see यहाँ से तार निकली है, यहाँ से this is called as mental foramen. ठीक है, this is the mental foramen. Now coming to the lateral surface of the vertical part. The lateral surface of the vertical part that it presents rough lines. ठीक है, there are rough lines here. ठीक है, these rough lines they are meant for the insertion of, इसके लिए यहाँ पे एक muscle होती है, that is called a masseter muscle, for the insertion of masseter muscle. ठीक है, so this was about the lateral surface. Now coming to the medial surface. This is the medial surface. The medial surface of the horizontal part it is convex, while that of the vertical part it is concave. ठीक है, ये convex होता है medial surface and this is concave. And on the medial surface close to the alveolar border there is a faint line. You can see from here, yeah, there is a faint line that is known as mylohyoid line, which gives attachment to mylohyoid muscle. So this is the mylohyoid line which gives attachment to the muscle that is called as mylohyoid muscle on the medial surface. ठीक है, on the medial surface of the horizontal part. Now this is the this is the vertical part that is concave, and here on this lower part of the vertical part there is a very important muscle attached here that is known as medial pterygoid muscle that remains attached here on the vertical part, medial surface of the vertical part, that is called as medial pterygoid muscle. And about the middle there is a foramen that is called as mandibular foramen. This is mandibular foramen. This mandibular foramen, okay, this mandibular foramen, it leads into a canal that is called as mandibular canal, and here it exits here, that is known as mental foramen. Here the mandibular artery and mandibular nerve, they pass through this mandibular canal. Okay. Just below there is a very faint groove. Here you can see very faint groove. Here. From here you can see there is a very faint groove here that goes downwards and forwards. ठीक है, यहाँ से आपको नज़र आ रहा है there is a faint groove that is called as lingual groove. So through this groove the lingual nerve that passes. ठीक है, faint groove on the medial surface. Now coming to the borders. One, this is the alveolar border. ठीक है, this is the alveolar border. That alveolar border क्या करता है? It presents alveoli. How many alveoli are there? There are 6 alveoli. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 alveoli there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. ये हो गया 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 alveoli are there for the lower cheek teeth on the alveolar border. And here you can see there is a space present that is called a diastema or interdental space. The alveoli जो होते हैं for the lower cheek teeth, the first you can see this is the size of the first alveoli. It is the smallest. ठीक है, it is the smallest, and as we move backwards the size of the alveoli it gets increased. ठीक है, so this is the alveolar border, and here you can see this is the posterior border, alveolar border and posterior border. ठीक है, on the horizontal part here you can see there is an impression. ठीक है, this is the impression here. You can see छोटा सा impression होता है यहाँ पे. You can see here. This is known as incisura vassorum. Impression that is called as incisura vassorum. यहाँ पे क्या होता है? There is the Stenson's duct and the external maxillary artery. They will wind around this bone here. Here this impression that is incisura vassorum. ठीक है, so this is the posterior border, and the posterior border of this vertical part below it remains convex and above becomes concave. कौन सा? Posterior border. This is alveolar border, posterior border. Here you have an impression, incisura vassorum for the Stenson's duct and the external maxillary artery cross here, and this is the posterior border of the vertical part. It is concave above and below it is convex. Now coming to the extremities. This one is the ventral extremity. The ventral extremity it gets fused with the body. This one. और ये कौन सी होती है? This is the articular extremity. The articular extremity presents two processes. This is the in front. It's a very large and narrow process that goes upwards and slightly it goes backwards. ठीक है, this is known as coronite process. This is the coronite process. ठीक है, this is upwards and then slightly turns backward. This is the coronite process. This coronite process ये कहाँ जाएगी? It fits or it projects into the temporal fossa of the skull. Temporal fossa of the skull, and it gives attachment to the temporalis muscle. Okay? This is the coronoid process. And just behind there is the condyle. This is called as condyle. This condyle, it articulates with the condyle of the squamous part of the temporal bone and form a joint that is called as temporomandibular joint, which is a diarthroidal joint. Okay? This coronoid process, and this is the condyle. And in between these two there is a notch that's called as mandibular notch. This one. This is the mandibular notch. Through this notch there is a masseter nerve that passes through this notch. Okay? This is the mandibular notch. Just below the condyle here, this is called as the neck of the mandible. And here you have a muscle remains here, that is the later pterygoid muscle. यहाँ पे एक muscle होती है, that is later pterygoid muscle. यहाँ पे रहते हैं medial pterygoid muscle. यहाँ पे होते हैं there is a mylohyoid muscle. ठीक है? And on the lateral surface, here it is the masseter muscle remains attached here. So this was all about the mandible of the cattle. Thank you.